recording, and then I'm going to go live on Facebook.
Gotcha.
Okay. Is everybody ready to start 1 million cups?
Yes, let's get into it.
Oh, there he is. Logan's here. Awesome. Right in time. Hey, Logan. Okay. All you shall.
Alrighty, thank you everyone so much for coming out to 1 Million Cups Chico today. We are just going to do a quick overview with the history of 1 Million Cups, our featured presentation, a Q&A session, and then some closing statements. So 1 Million Cups is brought to us by the Kauffman Foundation. The Kauffman Foundation works with communities in entrepreneurship and education to increase opportunities that allow all people to learn, take risks, and own their successes. 1 Million Cups is a free weekly program that educates, engages, and connects local entrepreneurs. And their mission is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the US. So they started real small in 2012 in Kansas City, and now they have over 160 communities, all with about 1 to 2 presentations a week, with a 6-minute presentation, a 15-minute Q&A, and we are here every Wednesday at Stovall and on Zoom. If you would like to join our community, follow us on the 1 Million Cups platform, 1millioncupscom/Chico. And today we have Elven Technologies. Are you guys all ready to present?
Yes, I guess we are.
All righty, go ahead.
Good morning.
Okay, morning. So let's share my screen and let's make sure that it does work. Please confirm that you can see it. Okay, cool, great. Well, hello everybody again. My name is Vamekh and I am the founder of this beautiful company, Elven Technologies. What we really do is we innovate and build new tech to protect the human body and safety in major hazards on Earth and later in space as well. So basically, we build new tech to protect people from fire, radiation, and stuff like that. And the first thing that we've been working on, and I'm going to be talking today, is the fire protection. The story behind this is that we actually started all this with the purpose to revolutionize the spacesuits for the next big step in humanity's exploration. But this is a very long process, and we decided to take spacesuits apart, technology by technology, and innovate each technology step by step, making products along the way and making money, which will support the innovation of more technologies. So the first thing is the so-called temperature shield, which is basically that we created a flame-proof material combination in-house, and we have already applied for the patent. And now we're doing our best to commercialize this technology in the different markets by trying to create different products. And now I'm going to go kind of walk you through what we've been working on the last 2 years on the products. So the first thing, which was the most logical thing to build in terms of saving human lives and protecting human safety, was the firefighter suit, because we saw that the current firefighter suits can provide just 8 seconds of protection in the direct flame, which is not enough for even reacting to the fact that you're on fire. And we already knew that our materials could do much better. We built the suits, and the final thing is that we have 5 times longer protection, at least. We can do at least 40 seconds with no damage to any part of the skin of the firefighter. And we can save firefighter lives for 80 seconds, which is unimaginable for the industry right now. Our price and the weight of the suits is the same. And you can go to YouTube and just basically type Elven Technologies, and you're going to see several videos there. And one of them is our full suit burn test with the mannequins, with the sensors, which are in Fahrenheit. So basically in 40 seconds, no raise in the sensors was determined. And this is a truly 5 times longer protection, which is huge for the industry at this point, because in 40 seconds, you can realize that you're on fire, you can come out of the building, you can take off your clothes that are on fire and just have no damage at all. On the other hand, this gives the opportunity to the firefighters to walk through the flame, cross the flaming areas to get to the people who need help much easily without even a need to extinguish flames first, which usually loses a lot of time. The market for this specific, I mean, the size of the market is about actually more than 6 million firefighters. We have only the data of the half of the world. And it's about $1 billion market per million firefighters. Numbers are complicated, but that's how it works. And there are million firefighters about in USA, so it's about a $1 billion market annual. And we're trying to tap into that. Talking about the intellectual property, the flame shield tech, so basically our flameproof material technology has already been applied to the patent status, and we've been also working on the cooling system as our second tech, which also makes total sense in the firefighting suit. And we are almost done applying for the patent there, but it's still away from the technology itself is away from the commercialization stage. We're still in R&D. It's just a small overview of the companies that operate on the US market in firefighting suits. And our goal actually is not to have the whole manufacturing plant and making our own suits and doing our marketing and sales and everything, but actually take this technology and the patent of the technology and the product as a suit and license it to the major manufacturers in the United States. So they do the most of the work and we keep on making money. Yes, it's not as much money as we would make if we went the other way, but because our goal is to innovate the spacesuit technologies as fast as possible, this is a perfect way for us to get the first money coming in and keep on doing the R&D. We've shown this technology and the suits to people in here in different fire departments. We've talked to already 40 firefighters, 3 chiefs, and 3 captains, and we have very nice feedback. Yeah, so basically what we're doing now, we're at the stage of just going and starting our talks with the potential licensees. This is what's going to start happening in July. The second product that we also built with the same technology, a little bit different, but still, is the burn suit for the stunt people. For the times when stunt people take the scenes where the people are on fire. And if you're doing the Game of Thrones shooting, then we are a gold mine, because what we do with this suit is that if the whole scene preparation of like maximum 30-second burn takes about 70 to 90 minutes today. So and if the scene doesn't work, you need to redo all these things. But what we can do, we decrease the preparation time for 10 minutes. So basically you can do every new scene 10 minutes and every 10 minutes. So if the whole 8 to 9 scenes take the whole day, now with our suit, it takes about an hour or maximum 2. And because the money is mostly paid hourly in that industry, we are able to save a lot of money while filming the flaming scenes. We have actually been approached by a stunt team with an offer to work on something like this, and that's why we started doing it. And we have been testing the whole suits with the stunt team. So this is the stunt team leader on the photo. So basically, we have the partners who are willing to take our product product to the market themselves, actually do the testing in the movies. And we are very close to applying it first time in the real shooting, which with a movie which is upcoming in several months. And the third and the latest development that we've had was just because as I moved here to California, I've seen several cases of Tesla being on fire spontaneously. Basically, what happens to this is the actual thing, not very common, but it's still a thing in the electric vehicle market or industry, is that most electric vehicles use batteries, which are in most cases, most cars located just below the cabin where the people sit. And lithium ion batteries tend to spontaneously catch fire, just spontaneously. Or during crash, the possibility is even higher, because if the integrity of the whole battery system is damaged, then there's a high probability of combustion. And the way this burns, it's a very high temperature burn. It's almost a third of the sun's temperature. And today's firefighting technology, like, we don't know how to extinguish lithium ion battery fires because it's not truly chemically a fire. So the usual things don't work. So today in firefighting, the lithium ion batteries are considered unextinguishable. So what you should do when you see it, you just have to get away and let it burn. But the problem is when you're in the car, which is electric, and the battery goes on fire, everything shuts down and you cannot exit the car. And it's total panic there. So what we offer is to take our materials and just put a big barrier between the people in the cabin and the lithium ion battery. And in case there is a fire, redirect all that flame and temperature away from the cabin, outside of the car. And we have done the tests, and on that temperature, when we apply the flame of the same temperature, it doesn't heat up on the other side for minutes. And that other side is also quite away from the passengers afterwards. And so before the battery fully burns, the heat doesn't cross the other side. So this is a very good safety feature, a life-saving safety feature, which can cost very small amount of money for the EV manufacturers. And that's what we're also doing right now, getting in touch with the EV manufacturers to talk about licensing this product. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the team. We're the founders of 4 people. I started the company. These guys joined me quite fast. We are all technical in our backgrounds. We had no business people around, despite me having several startup failures before. And George also had several startup failures as a CTO. But we managed to build the prototype and then the full suit prototype. And we managed to get some investors and advisors on the board. And now we all together have been on this path for 2 years we kind of finished the whole R&D and MVPs just now and are doing our best to commercialize. The Farid and Ken are from the Sacramento area, and they actually brought us here. We love this area here, the whole California thing. It's much easier to work from here than from Georgia, including R&D, including business. So I think that's it. There should have been one more slide, but that's right here. Yeah, I'll just tell you a little bit about it. We haven't raised a lot of money. Like, we've been working on this for 3 years, and totally we've raised about, I think we've hit the $500,000 mark just now. Most of, like, half of that has been grants, half of that has been investments from friends and family, and then a little bit larger angel investors. And I'm not gonna tell you how much we're raising. It doesn't matter at this point. Thank you so much for, I think that I went more than 6 minutes. I apologize for that.
Okay. Let's give them a round of applause.
And obviously I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions.
Yeah, do we have any questions for him?
Yeah, I have a question. So you said you started to revolutionize spacesuits. So is that primarily your focus, or did you want to get moved into firefighting suits?
That's still the focus. I mean, the whole every product we build with the flameproof technology is a first stepping stone towards a very long pathway of building a spacesuit.
Gotcha.
Because spacesuits are one of the most complicated technologies and complex technologies on Earth and outside Earth also. Because the last ones that were actually built, functioning ones, was in 1960s, and they were upgraded in 1970s. And NASA had 25 of those. That's what landed humans on Mars. And now just 3 of them are left. They're barely working. There are no parts. There are no, like, it doesn't even have software in it. Doesn't have a computer in it. So nobody knows how to build it anymore because people who build it are not alive. So NASA actually has been doing it for, like, trying to build a new one for 10 years. They used about $500 million for that, and they drastically failed. And it's very understandable why, because this is the field which nobody knows what's going on there. And it's basically a jungle where we all walk and we hope to get the right answers. So now what happened, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, NASA announced 2 huge contracts of a total of $3.2 billion paid to 2 different competing companies to build the spacesuits for them. So NASA itself basically gave up and got the whole new funding for the outsourcing it. It's a huge thing. It's very complicated technology. It needs to work 100% assurance that you don't go out in space and don't not die. So it's a very long path, and this is the path that we have chosen to go tech by tech, making money with each new tech to just keep us going.
That's awesome. Another thing, sorry, go ahead, Heather or Chanel.
Sorry, I just had a question about what made you choose this industry to get into. You said you've been working on it for 3 years, so I just kind of wondered kind of what the story was of how this even, came to be, of wanting to get into space tech, wanting to do the fire suit and everything.
To be totally honest, the way it all started was is based on my body's inability to fight heat. I hate heat. So and I lived in Israel, and it's always hot there. Winters are hot, which is, yeah, very strange. So I was thinking to myself, like, how come in the 21st century, when we have all these cool technologies around, I don't have a wearable AC that I can wear and not be hot or cold outside anymore? Like, how hard can that be? And I was a medical doctor by then. So I just got some catheter tubing from my work. Don't tell my boss. And just put it on the vest and put the cold liquid in it, and it felt amazing. So I was like, okay, can I just put a battery and a pump on it now, so I just don't have to do it by syringe anymore? But I didn't know that much, so I called George, who's now our CDO, and he said, like, yeah, that's easy. And so we did that, and it was amazing. So it all started with the cooling system. We didn't even have anything with a fire in mind. Um, but while building the cooling system, because just catheter lines won't do it, you have to just go for better things. We encountered so many technological problems and even scientific problems that we realized that us too, in Georgia, with one 3D printer, just cannot do it. So we said, okay, what else can we do? And on that moment, we knew that the cooling system can be used in multiple industries, but it will cost a lot in the beginning. So who can use it? And we went and saw, like, if the cooling system ever existed in any wearables, and we saw that the only thing was a spacesuit. And because it made total sense, because it's very cold and hot in space at the same time, so you have to wear something that protects you from outside, but because of that, your heat doesn't leave your body, so you definitely need to be cooled. You will never need to be warmed up. because your heat will just cook you. So the cooling system was the spacesuit was the only thing that had a cooling system. So we were like, okay, if we manage to build a very good cooling system, then we can integrate it in the spacesuit, and we can make money with that. And then we went and saw how the spacesuits were made, and we saw that you cannot integrate it in the spacesuit because there are no spacesuits. So then we're like, okay, if there are no spacesuits, how is Elon going to Mars? And we realized that he's actually not. And that it was 2019, I guess. And I said, that was crazy, and it's still crazy. But I said, okay, maybe in 5 years we can build a spacesuit. It's been 3 years already, but still. But yeah, we decided to just embark on this crazy path. And then we realized that, okay, we have to start with something easier because we don't have money for the cooling system, and we don't have people for the cooling system. And the easiest seemed to be materials which can take up the heat, because that is also definitely needed. So we went and ordered a lot of different new materials. We begged companies to send samples, and we used 1 year to do all the different tests on different things. And we, I think very accidentally at some point, came up with this perfect combo, which not only was perfect with the temperature transmission, but also very accidentally was flame proof. And I mean, totally proof. Like you could put a very high temperature torch on it and just leave. And when you come back, it's going to be there. And probably the torch will be just gone out. So we were like, okay, now what can we do with this? Because we have this. I mean, it doesn't need more we can prove the whole concept. So what can we do? And we went and looked at multiple industries. Like we were looking at the mountaineers, because it can also protect you from the cold. It can protect you from the heat, doesn't matter. We were thinking of, okay, people are going to Antarctica. We did, I guess, 10 different industries. But at some point when we looked at the firefighters, it was so obvious that these people are all dying, and the others just have a discomfort. So, and the reason the people, like 43,000 people die in fires as fire victims in the world every year, and about 1,000 of them are firefighters. So the fire get to the flaming building, most of them don't go in because there's flaming or fire. So they have to extinguish the flames first, and during that time, these people usually die. So we're like, okay, if we give them something better to wear, and if they can cross these places with flames and take people out first, that's what we want to do. And that's the whole reason we went on that side, on the firefighting. Actually, I give you very long
Well, for
answers.
something, obviously we're in California. California wildfires have been the worst, and there's obviously a number of states that are catching up with that, Colorado, New Mexico. Would this be something that like CAL FIRE would wear for the entire time they're fighting a fire? So Amador County is on fire right now. So would they wear the suit the whole time when they're out fighting the fire? I know you talked about victims going in buildings, but I just kind of wanted to address the outside.
I don't think so, because we really hoped so, to be honest, but we discovered here that during the wildland or outside firefighting, it is crucial to have the lowest weight suits on, because they don't get actually fire or temperature damage. They just get overwhelmed by the weight of the suits that's
and the heat
where they're and the heat. So it's better, like by research it shows that it's better that they wear like feather light protection than real good protection. So heavyweight, strong protection, like strong big suits, are mostly used in the structural fires. And because we're going for the like highest protection, that's the segment that we're going in.
Okay.
So unfortunately, yet we cannot help the people who are fighting fires outside.
Okay, because that would be amazing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we were hoping so. We went to the firefighters. We were like, yeah, look at what we have, and you can wear this everywhere. And they were like, no, can we show what we wear outside? And it was so light and so different. It's basically just one layer of the minimum
Interesting.
protection that technically can be there. Yeah.
But could you incorporate that cooling system that you were mentioning? I mean, the cooling system
Oh,
part of it into that
yes.
suit that they have to wear.
Yes. The cooling system is very different from what the human logic is used to, because the last test we performed, I've stood myself in direct flame for half an hour
Wow.
while also recording the interview. So it's just unimaginable how high the protection can go with the cooling, but the cooling needs to be together with the materials,
Okay.
because what our materials actually do, it slows the progression of temperature crossing the barrier, but the temperature will still cross the barrier. But like if it takes 8 seconds to heat up on the other side, now with our tech it takes 80, but after 80 it will still heat up and burn you. But if you cool it on the other side efficiently, it's so slow that you can keep on this till the cooling system works, and you can make the cooling system work technically for a very long time. So yeah, we can do that, but still, we don't have enough money. Like about $3 million that was mentioned somewhere there is actually to keep us afloat while we get our first money from the fire stuff, but also to promote the R&D for the cooling, so we don't lose time before we start making new money,
Sure.
because it's a hard, like we need to buy at least $1 million of worth of machinery just to be able to manufacture the parts that we need to work on the cooling system. So yeah, technically it's doable, but we need
Okay.
a good investment for that.
Interesting.
Well, just talking about the cooling system, I'm just interested how much of a difference implementing the cooling system would make, both to, obviously cooling down when you're in a fire, and how much it will affect the weight and build of the suit.
Okay, so weight right now of the suit without the cooling, just the materials, is about 7 kilograms, which would be 15 pounds. It's the same weight as all the structural suits of the firefighters around. Some of them can go up to 20, but like the good suits are 15, 14, 15, high quality suits. The cooling system that we built, but it has been just a cooling vest, not the whole body, weighed about 6 pounds. And it was the first wearable prototype of that cooling system. And anytime I tell this, I also tell the story about the Google Glass. Like you guys know about the Google Glass, right?
Yes.
So when the Google Glass was launched, or if we called it a launch, it weighed about 13 grams. But the first prototype was 5 kilos, which is about 12 pounds. So 12 pounds of thing on their head. Basically, it was big goggles and a huge projector they were wearing. So yeah, you can get it down with the technology and good minds working on it. What is most important in our cooling system is that, like, our true invention is not the way that the mechanism of cooling or what's going on in the backpack, but actually a distribution system. The system of capillaries and arteries and veins, which distributes the cooled liquid into the or on the body surface. Because 2 of the 4 founders are ex-medical doctors, and actually we used to teach anatomy and stuff, we know this exactly how the cardiovascular system of the human works. And until we designed our distribution system according to our body, it didn't work. And as soon as we did, it just worked flawlessly. So what we do, the major problem I'll try to explain this easily. The major problem right now for NASA is that they start it's done by a long tube. So a long tube starts in a backpack, and then it travels all the way around your body, goes all the places, and finally comes back into the backpack. But that length is about, I don't know, 200 meters, which is, I don't know, 0.1 miles, I guess, 0.15 miles. It's a huge length. So by physics laws, things go wrong there. The pressure is very high. You need a huge pump. Huge pump needs a huge battery source, energy source, and so on and so on. So weight goes up. And what we did was we just invented a methodology of building flexible radiators, which can do whatever you wish, branch and connect pathways, have different radii, and so on and so on, and build different shaped tubes inside one thing. So basically now what we have is what we're trying to finally build is the single silicone suit, a very thin single silicone suit, which will have absolutely everything embedded inside: arteries, veins, capillaries. They will function the way they do because that's why we built that way. Plus the sweat absorption system, plus all the electricity and sensors, everything running through it, exactly the way the skin is built, but done with a silicone. So and silicone is cool because it's also flame proof, it's also temperature proof. So if we do this, we don't need the major protection for some people anymore. So we can just give the silicone suit to the wildland firefighters, and it's going to be much lighter in weight, and it will do everything for them, including cooling, heating, sweat absorption, I don't know, a lot of stuff. So that's why building a cooling system is really hard. But what's important is that we will apply for the patent like next week, I guess. And the patent is for the manufacturing technology of these kinds of radiators. And the reason we had to invent it because we went and looked for, we wanted to buy something like that just to attach our cooling system, but it wasn't there. Then we went to see if scientifically any work has been done to do this. And due to very logical reasons, if you go down to the manufacturing logic, it hasn't been done yet. It was one of the biggest manufacturing challenge in flexible radiators, and we kind of solved it. So yeah.
The stats you said about the burn suits for like movie making are pretty incredible. I didn't think about it that way. Like, say one burn suit goes off, and that's hours of getting the next one ready. And with like, you know, like a film set, all those hours are hundreds of thousands of dollars. How like tapped in are you to like the film industry, especially since you're in California now?
Well, to be honest, we haven't been paying a lot of attention to the film industry because we've been like really busy on the fire and the EV side. And as I've been to the Sacramento or San Francisco region, and not to the like LA region, and I have like almost no context there. But we've talked to several like very famous stunt people from Hollywood, who are basically well known in the world for doing fire stunts specifically. Um, the funny thing is that there are no suits. The solution that we're fighting now on the market is not the suits. They do these kind of gels. They put their gels on their body. That's why it takes so much time, because like 4 people have to be putting gels all over your body for a very long time. Yeah, it's not a nice process. And but because we started it back in Georgia, we have the Georgian stunt team who is working on the Hollywood projects and some other projects as well. So the way we're looking at it is that they are doing the testing. It's a little bit complicated R&D because you also need to protect the face completely, and that we had to go into a new world of face masks just because of that. And now some part of our R&D team is working on the flame-proof face mask, which makes you look like a human because you're in the movie and you need to, but it also gives you the ability to breathe a filtered air and so on, and which also doesn't exist, as it turns out. They do usual masks, which just has a hole here, and there's a tube which comes out, but this tube has to be long, because when you're in fire, you cannot breathe from right here. It has to, you have to breathe from somewhere there. But because this tube is plastic, it burns while you're on fire. Or if it's a metal, it heats up and damages your stuff. So we also have to solve that now, and that's what we're working on right now. But I think they're having a very good results. But yeah, basically we're thinking we're gonna do the tests with the team that we're working on, and then they have already made several pre-orders, and we're just gonna give them the pre-orders. They're gonna go and do an actual shooting, an actual movie. If it's successful, we're gonna have an actual movie scenes with our suits, and then it's gonna be much easier to go and talk to people. We actually really wanted to reach the Game of Thrones cast, because like they would be able to save huge amounts of money. Because if you have like 2 burn scenes in the whole movie, it's probably, I don't know, 2-3 days of work, and you can do it in one, so you save like 30%, no, 60%. But if you're doing a Game of Thrones, we can save you like 95% of funds, which is huge amount. And like they put like 80-100 people on fire at the same time. They own, I think, all the Guinness records in flame filming. So, but yeah, they're quite far away. Couldn't get that.
Yeah, they have that new series coming that's like guaranteed like 10 seasons.
Yeah, they're doing this, the whole series about dragons. It's gonna be only fire. That could be our just only business. If we get them, like, yeah, we can do a vacation then.
They're not slowing down on Star Wars shows anytime soon either. Firing all those as well.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Are there a lot of different types?
Fire there.
Are there a lot of different types of regulations you have to comply to, or is it all just kind of ground? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Unfortunately, there are.
Okay, exactly.
Actually, yeah, we found out that despite the firefighter suits and the stunt suits should comply to different regulations, most of the tests done to qualify for that paper or that regulatory paper are the same. So we got into touch with UL and other third-party labs and agreed to do several important steps with tests with them. And currently, the materials are on the way from Georgia to here, so we can send it for testing. It will need, like, I think 2 or 3 months. But basically, yeah, we need to comply to those. Just doing the testing is not enough, though. You have to apply for the certification, and the certification costs a lot of money. Just the service costs about $120,000 in the first year. Then it's about $20,000 every next year ongoing. And we also need to send a lot of suits. And I think, I believe that's a bigger challenge than just getting the money, because like manufacturing 50 suits for us at this point is, I don't know, almost impossible. Yeah, almost impossible. So the way we're looking at it is that because the manufacturing companies that we're already trying to license the whole tech and product to, they have experience doing that. They have contacts, they have the funds for that. So, I mean, it's one more thing that needs to be done, and we're also outsourcing that one more thing to them. So yeah, we understand that if we do that thing, our valuation will be higher and we will make more money. But if we don't, the risks are lower though.
What's your strategy for getting the license to the manufacturers? I know you said you're going to start that this month.
Excuse me?
Your strategy for reaching out to the manufacturers and the licensing?
I think like we went the classic way, did the funnel, like I have a huge list of companies, not a huge, but a list of companies, and then the list of people who we think we need to approach in these companies, who are mostly VPs of, for the EVs, there are the VPs of engineering, for the battery protection systems, safety, and so on, like technical people, because we believe that it's more easier to understand for the tech people how this works and what it does, and then they will bring the word to the CEOs or the decision makers. And on the other hand, we're also trying to reach out the same kind of the people in the firefighting industry. We're not trying to reach out to people in the film industry, as I said already. So yeah, that's the way we're going. Like, we have the names, and like we just finished doing this, and the whole day is over, and now we're gonna just apply the strategy. How, like, what's the exact path of going there? I think that it's much better to have the warm intros, so our community people we have on LinkedIn will just go through the list and see if we have the connections with people and can do the warm intros, and if not, then the cold calling and then other paths, I guess.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay,
Obviously,
great.
if you guys can have any connections, I'd be super grateful, especially in EVs, because like we know fire industry well already, because we've been talking to these people for years. But the EVs are new for us, and they're harder to reach
Yeah.
because they're much bigger. Yeah, so that would be amazing if you help in that.
Heather, I'm sorry, Heather. Do you know if Climate Corps could be interested in any type of fire suits? I should probably ask somebody else about that, but
Yeah, probably Eva would know. Our executive director was unable to make it today. So we'll definitely forward your information. She has a lot of contacts in the Bay Area, and a lot of entrepreneurial experience, and even in the airline industry. So she's, as far as the EV, I definitely want to, she'd have her watch the recording after. Yeah, that's something to ask Eva.
okay.
Okay,
Absolutely. What other feedback have you had from 1 Million Cups presentations? Or is anything valuable you took out of I don't know how many you've done, so I should probably ask that first, but.
To be honest, I usually don't remember who specifically told me what. I just gather all the information and then think about it. But I think I received the canvas after, like, the business model canvas after the last presentation. It was really helpful, and I had it open till yesterday. I'm the guy who never closes tabs because who knows, they might get handy after 2 years,
Exactly. I do
right?
the same thing.
So, and I had it open till yesterday, and I was always looking at it, and then yesterday something went wrong with my browser and everything closed, and I panicked. Yeah, so I remember that particularly, but the rest, it usually so much feedback every day. I talk to so many people. I just don't remember specifically.
That's okay. Yeah, I was just curious. All right.
Okay,
Well, like we said, we'll definitely make sure that our ED knows about you and what your needs are. Is there anything else that we can? And Chanel, sorry, I'm taking over, but how else can we help you?
There you go. That's what I was going to ask.
I don't know. I think it's just the connections at this point.
Okay.
Because connections to people you might think can be not helpful, but interested in what we do. Like, we're gathering folks who believe in our vision, and then we're trying to just be open about how we're doing all this and make it as logical and believable for them as possible. And when we talk to people and they like what we do and they get excited about the whole space and fire thing, then they give us the ideas, which is the best part. And despite we've heard so many similar ideas, because the logic works the same way when you hear this first time. This is actually data flowing, and if you just measure it, you'll see that 90% of people says that you should try these suits. Maybe we should try those suits, and so on and so on. Yeah, so it's very important to talk people, especially people who got truly excited about what we do. So yeah, I mean, anybody.
I would even think
from
for
space.
training, like I know Butte College is one of the colleges near here, junior college, but they like the fire academies would be a great way to incorporate this as they're practicing.
Yes, if
So,
they do the practicing, yeah.
yeah.
But usually these suits cost about $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah. But they have
And-
grants that they get that they do all this stuff. So if they had a grant and then they, had the money to purchase a couple of them, and then they used it for training.
VR headsets cost a lot. They got a lot of those.
They got a lot of stuff.
Okay.
On a side note, or not really a side note, but going back to the EV, do you have video of how that blanket works?
Yes, actually we do. It doesn't look good, but it's a video. Yeah, it was very spontaneously recorded. I don't think it's searchable on YouTube,
Okay.
but I should be able to
see.
send you a link. Just give me a sec, please.
Is social media and things like that something?
Excuse me.
Sure.
I can't hear you. Okay. I couldn't hear the question.
Oh, sorry. Just go ahead. I was just going to ask about, if you're doing any type of social media, or is that set for the future?
I started a Facebook page in early beginning when we were doing this, but then I never had time to do it properly. So there is a Facebook page where because the Georgian community is very Facebooky still, it's most of the news and articles and TV or interviews and things are posted there automatically. So there is a nice history there already, despite most of those being in the Georgian language. And we've just started uploading some videos on YouTube. You can just look us up, and there are some stuff open, some stuff not open yet. Yeah. Okay, I think I have it there. Can I just put the link in?
Pop it in the chat, yeah.
In the chat? Yeah. So, so this was recorded, I think, 2 months ago. I was already here, so the guys did it, the team. So basically, what's happening there? Yeah, you need to watch it yourself. Sandra will do the explanation.
Experiment on 10mm material, and we are looking at the temperature of conduction with 36 degree Fahrenheit torch, and we have temperature sensor here, and we will see how much time it will take to heat it up with this torch.
So temperature is in Fahrenheit, and this torch melts most of the metals in a minute. Okay, most of the metals, not like strong alloys or steels.
Oh my goodness. It's not doing it.
And you see,
That's part of it
it
too.
picks up at some point, and it starts transmitting slowly and slowly and slowly. So if you're wearing this on your skin, it will be a problem at some point because it will touch your skin. That's why we need to put the cooling system in there. But if it's between the cabin and the battery, you're not actually sitting on this. It's just getting lightly heated up on the other side when it's huge amounts of temperature on the flame side. So you won't even ever feel it inside the car.
That's amazing.
And this is specifically a test for the battery fire because the temperature of the torch is adjusted in a way where what the like, battery fire temperature is, because it's about 50% higher temperature than the flames or the test we do for the firefighter suit. No, 50%? No, 85%. Almost twice higher.
Wow.
So yeah, this temperature on the skin would be bad, but this temperature below the cabin is not bad, because this temperature needs to reach the temperature where other things get flammable, and that temperature is as it starts at 700 to 800, like where things start to melt and get on fire.
So that's measuring Fahrenheit, or?
This is measuring Fahrenheit, yeah. So the battery of Tesla takes about 2 to 3 minutes to fully burn. And it also doesn't apply a direct flame. There is not an actual flame there. Lithium battery fire is not chemically a burning reaction. So it doesn't produce an actual flame. It does produce just a high temperature fumes.
Okay.
Wow. That was kind of insane.
And that's like, you know, you have to blow torch your own money for 4 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be beneficial to have.
And you can
everyone-
also basically.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can also look for like other videos in there. We have a nice promo video which we did.
And there's nobody else
ago.
doing that type of blanket system.
Not what we've heard of, not what we've looked for.
Wow.
And we also did like very extensive and nice patent research before the application. And despite there were, like, we found, I guess, 3 patents that were deemed worthy of like reading completely, because there were like some were close to what we do, but when we went like deep into it, they were still like very far away from our region. So it was like very free area to go for the patent. So probably not
Right.
what we know. What we know.
Well, it seems like it would be beneficial to have a really kind of professional produced video showing that before you actually.
Yeah. I also agree in that. I'm flying back to Georgia in a month for the summer vacation, and I'll be back, I think, at the end of September-ish. And while I'm there, it will be easier to organize stuff like that, because Georgia's a small country, everybody's friend. So you can basically grab some professional people and make them do the video for you for free.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Perfect.
So I
Well,
think.
already.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much for presenting today.
thank
I'm just
you
going to do
for the
some
opportunity.
closing statements. Yeah, of course. So I'm Chanel Hamilton, your host organizer. Eva Shepard is our chapter lead, and we want to thank our community. We want to thank our community sponsors: Chico Start, Grow Tech, Global Entrepreneurship Network, T-Bar, Build.com, Startup Grind, Explore Butte County, and of course, Stoble Coffee. For some upcoming events, we have our PRCO.
It's
PR.
we're up at the Chamber of Commerce this
There we go.
night, promoting something.
Oh, that's
Got
really.
you. Thank you. Great. Yeah. And we will be here next Wednesday at 9 a.m. on Zoom and at Stoble Coffee with Grapevine. And if you'd like to sign up for our Chico Start newsletter, feel free to scan that QR code. And again, thank you so much for coming out today, and we hope you all have a good day.
Thank you, Vamekh.
Thank you so much. We wish you the best.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.